So after you've drawn our shape, you come to this place, shape fill. Shape fill fills any color you select here will be filling the shape with that color. So let's come here and let's choose maybe probably green. And then then you come to the outline. You choose another color for the line. If you look at the outline, you can see we are having like an orange outline and we are having like a green fill. So this is how to format the colors of each shape that you have. Also, you can also do more with the line. You can also do more with the outline. It says that I can make the line thicker. You can see, okay, I'm choosing something like this, the thickest. And then you can see I have a thicker line. I can always go back there to reduce the width of the line. So that is basically about shapes. Let me try to insert another shape. This is a rectangle. Okay, now this is a circle. The same thing applies. The same way we applied our colors to the rectangle is the same way you can also apply your colors to all shapes. So this is at your discretion. You can choose to do whatever you feel like. Okay, let me try to use these shapes to draw like the Olympic rings, if I can remember them correctly. So I'm just copying and pasting. For those of us that might be wondering where the circles are coming from, I'm just copying a circle and just pasting and dragging it to where I want it to be. It's not perfect because I'm not an artist, but I think we get the sense of what you can always use shapes to accomplish in Excel. So right now, like I said, the reason why we are touching on shapes in Microsoft Excel is because they are very, very important in building dashboards and also highlighting data. So now let me teach you one very unique thing about shapes. Let me get rid of these circles. Now, for this shape, do you understand? Assuming I want a word to be written on this shape. I have this shape and I want something to be written. Okay, let me try to bring back those. Okay. All right, let's continue. Assuming I have this shape now and I want to write something on this shape. I need a written word on this shape. Normally, the shapes does not have the functionality to hold text. You can't write on shapes. Because it is a shape tool, you will not be able to write it compared to when you clicking here and then writing it. You don't have that same functionality when it's on shapes. But what do? And you need to write on this shape. You need some words to be on this shape. So how do we go about that? You go back to insert again. Then you come here, text box. Let me highlight that so that we can all see. Text box. This is text box here. So to write in a shape, you need to select a text box. That is what will give you the functionality to write in a text box. So now let us go ahead and do that. I select my text box. And I come into the shape where I want to write and I draw it. I draw the text box depending on the length of what I want to write. Maybe what I'm writing is not too much. I just draw it like this. Do you understand? Now I can click. You can see the cursor is now active inside the text box. Before, there was no cursor inside the text box because ideally you cannot write on the shapes. It doesn't allow that functionality of writing. But for you to be able to write on any shape at all, you need to make use of your text box. So let me do that again. Let me show you again. Your text box is under the insert function. This is right here. When you come to the site, it's towards the extreme right. So you just click it. The only thing you just need to click it. But once you've clicked it, sorry, let me do that once more. Insert, and then you click it. Once you click it, you need to go back to your shape and make a drawing. Sorry, my mouse is giving me some issues here. Let me do that again, please. So you draw it where you want your words to appear. So right now I can just write the Olympic rings. and then I can drag it and put it here since I want it to be an header. Then let me go back and draw my Olympic rings again. Like I said, you can insert whatever shape you like. I'm copying and pasting it. For those of us wondering how I'm getting multiple circles, I just copied and paste. The same way you've been doing your copy and paste all this while is the same way I'm doing this also. So one more circle to go. All right, that's that for that. So we can see with this, we've been able to make a little bit of representation in the sense that, okay, I want to show you people how the Olympics rings look like. I have used the shape to draw my rings, and then I have used the text box to actually name it so that when you're seeing it, maybe you don't even know what it is, you can always understand. Now, let us go back to this text box, this Olympic rings text box. As you can see, my initial shape is green. Then my text box is coming on a white background. Maybe I don't need that white background. I just want the Olympic rings written. I don't want a white background because I might feel the white background is distorting from the green shape. I only want a green background. So that means I have to remove the white background from this text box. So what do? I click on this text box and I come back to this shape fill again. That is why I keep highlighting this shape fill. I come back to shape fill. Remember the background is white and I don't want the background. So I choose no fill. Can we see the difference? When it was white, it was giving me a white, which was like overshadowing the green. Do you get? But right now, I gave it a no fill column, which means I don't want any fill. I don't want it to be filled with any color. Please note, no fill and white, they are two different things. White is a color because if I should give it white, you can see this is white. It is a color. But no fill means I don't want any color. So I come here and I choose no fill, which removes the fill color there. So please let us still go back. My Olympics rings now, there is no background, yes, but it has a border. There's a line surrounding it. I also don't want that. I only want the Olympic rings written in plain. I click on the text box again. But this time around, I'm not going to shape fill. I am coming to shape outline because that is a line. Come to shape outline, then I also apply no outline. This is no outline here. And I also apply on no outline. Now you can see I'm good to go. My Olympic rings doesn't have a background and it doesn't have any line to it. So I'm good to go. Let me take it again. I am going to delete this and write it from the beginning. I'm going to take text inbox because it is very, very important, especially when you are building your dashboard. After you have created your dashboard, you need to name your dashboards or you need to name some charts. Let me give you that example. Let me show you the dashboards we did. For example, look at this dashboard. Look at the HR attrition written here, the topic of this dashboard. It was written using a text box because what is behind it is a shape. You can see the long rectangular shape behind it, but you can see HR attrition dashboard was written. It was written using a text box. Look at all the charts also from monthly income, overtime, job satisfaction. Everything was written using a text box. That is why it's important because that it is a text box that allows you to write on shapes. Ideally, you cannot write on shapes. So now let us do it again. I said, where do you get your text box? You get your text box from Insert. And then you click on text box. After clicking, you come to your shape wherever you want it and you click and drag. You remember you are clicking and drag based on what you want to write. If what you want to write is very long, you make sure your text box is long as well. And if it's something very, very small, you can draw it according to whatever you like. So now I have it. You can also move it around and place it wherever you want. And then you click. So now I can write whatever I want on my shape. The Olympic rings. Now let me highlight it and apply some formatting to it. I can make it bold. I can make it bigger. I can make it bold and I can give it another color. Right now, I have my Olympic rings. But remember, Because you are drawing your text box, automatically it comes with a white background and an outline. Your text box is going to come with a white background and an outline. So we need to remove it because right now there's a white, the green is like it has been distorted. It's no longer complete green. The Olympics rings has a white background on the green. So now we want to remove our white background. So what do? You click on your text box again, and then you come to shape format. Once you click on shape format, it brings you these options. Remember, I said shape fill. The first one, you need to click on shape fill and click on no fill. Right now is on white. Do you understand? Right now is on white, but I don't want it to be colored. I don't want any background, so I just click on what? No fill. Right now, the color is gone, but it still has a line. I need to get rid of the line too, so I click on it again. I click on it again, and then I choose this time I'm dealing with the shape outline. Shape outline. Please note, if you are giving the inside, do you understand, color, you deal with shape fill. If you are talking about the line, you deal with shape outline. You will not want to give the inside a color and then you'll be going to shape outline. It will not work. It will only give the line the color. So for the inside, you click on shape fill. For the line, you use shape outline. So now let me remove the line on this, my Olympic rings. I click on no outline. So we can see it's good to go. So that is one of the functionalities of shape. So right now, we'll be doing this classwork. I'll be doing it for you. I just want all of you guys to follow. We'll try to build a dashboard using shapes. So I think we're going to try to build something like this. It's very, very easy. This particular Netflix dashboard that I are seeing, it was done on Excel. It was not done on anywhere than Excel. So if you take a look at it, okay, let us see what was done on this. This particular dashboard has a dark background. It has a black background. If you look at it, there's a black background underneath of which these charts fall on. It has a black background. That is the first thing. And note, then there are different kinds of rectangular shapes. There are big ones, there are small ones, depending on the chart that was put on it. And then the rectangles are white in color with no outline. So that is what we are going to try to do today. So let us give it a shot. And so what we are just going to be doing, we are going to be working with these shapes so that we all understand how they work and how to use them. Like I said, the reason why we are doing shapes is because we are going to a level of, we are advancing in our data analysis class. So we're getting to the analysis part. So when you are doing your analysis, you'll be working with charts and then you'll be working with dashboards. But you cannot build a dashboard without knowing how to build them. Do you understand? You cannot build a dashboard without knowing how to build it. And what allows you to build your dashboard is what? Shapes. So this is why we'll be working with shapes primarily today. And we'll try to build like 2 or 3 dashboards so that we get accustomed to using it. Okay. All right. So now I want us to take a look at this also. We're still on this dashboard that we want to work on. This is our classwork for today. Now, like I said, this is an Excel page. Some of you might be wondering, how is this an Excel page? This doesn't look like an Excel in the sense that this and this, they look totally different. This Excel page, our normal Excel page, has grid lines, has all these lines in the rows and the column. And then this particular one has none. There are no grid lines, there are no lines there. You understand? It is just blank, as if it is not Excel, as if it is another application. But I can tell you this is Excel. So how was that done? In the sense that how were the lines gotten rid of? How were the lines deleted? That's what I want to show you now. Because if you're trying to build a dashboard using Excel, you wouldn't need to see all these lines because it's going to like distort most of what you are trying to see when you are seeing all these cells. So how do we get rid of all these lines? So you come to view on your menu tab, you come to view, you can see where my mouse is. You come to view, and then you come to this place, you can see grid lines. Let me try to highlight that a bit. Grid lines. So all these rows, all these lines that are marking each individual cell, they are called grid lines. The moment I click on it, The moment I click on this grid line, you will see what happens. Please, can someone tell me what happened? All the lines have disappeared. Do you understand? We've removed all the lines. The cells are still there in the sense that I can still write within this cell. I can still write within the cell. But right now, I don't know where one cell ends and where one cell starts because I've already gotten rid of the grid lines that separate each cell. So normally, if you want to start building your dashboard, it is advisable to remove your grid line so that you will have a blank canvas to build your dashboard, to do your design. For those of us joining us, or for those of us that have been, yes, no more grids, or like no more grids. That's what it means. Once you remove your grid lines, all the grids go because we are trying to build our dashboard here using shapes. So like I said, this is what we are trying to copy. If you guys need me to drop this image on the WhatsApp group, I can, so that you can also follow. This is what we are trying to copy. So like I said, I broke this dashboard down, how it was done. A black background was first given to it. If you guys look beyond those charts, you will see that there's a black background beneath it. Am I right? There's a black background beneath it. Then after the background has been created, then different rectangular shapes were now created, giving a white value before the charts were now put on top of those. So that is what we are going to be trying. We are going to be trying to draw this template of this dashboard right now. So now let's start. We've done the first step in the sense that we've done the first step in the sense that we've already created, we've already gotten rid of the guidelines. Okay, someone is asking me, Esther, please, can you help remove the guideline? Okay, let me put it back there again. You can see it's very, very simple. You just need to remove the click. You need to unclick it. Just go to view. This is where I got it from, view. You come to view. If you want to return it back, just click on it. If you want to get rid of it, you click on it again and you have a blank space. So it is good to go. Please, there are some people making some comment about the timing of the class. If you got the invite, the timing of the class starts by 8, the same time we started yesterday. That is why the invite is sent an hour earlier so that we can prepare ahead. We can prepare well to join. Okay, so that's that for that. So now let us start building our dashboard now. Let me take the first. I said the first thing that was done to this particular dashboard was the black background. So now let me create a black background for this. So I come to insert, I click on my shape, I choose the first shape, and I try to create that black background. I do something like this. Okay, right now we said is black. So I go to my shape fill. I said shape fill is what we use to give a color to the black, to the fill itself, and I give it a black color. Right now, if you take a look at the outline is still in blue, and I don't need that. So I go to my shape outline, and then I remove it from what? No outline. Remember, this is what we are trying to replicate. This is what we are trying to replicate. Okay, so now let's go. Now we've gotten our black background. Now we need to get each of these rectangular boxes that make up the dashboard. So now let us go. We start with the first one, the one at the top left, the one where Netflix was written. So let us draw that one first. Let us draw that one first. So you can always go to back to your insert and choose your shape again. Okay, we have the shape, but if we are trying to compare, it doesn't have the same color. The color is off. This is a white color, so let us try to do that. We've highlighted it and then we're giving it white. The line has a blue color, so let us remove it. Please note, for you to be able to do all this, for you to be able to apply each color to it, your shape must be selected. The right shape must be selected. Right now, it is not selected. So if I should apply any formula to it, any shape to it, any color to it rather, it will not work because I'm not selecting the right shape. I'm working with this small shape, so I need it selected, and then I come here and I remove the what? The outline. So right now we've done we've drawn the first, which is the Netflix. So now let us draw the next one, which comes after the one named top countries by monthly revenue. Let us try to draw the rectangular. Okay, Abel, you're asking me if I can remove the shape and start again. Just follow. I'm creating many shapes. This is what we are trying to build. This is what we are trying to do. So if you look here, there are like 6 or 7 rectangles here. So I've just built one. I've just drawn one. So we have like 6 or 7 to go. So I don't need to delete that one. So just follow me as I go, and then you see how I've been drawing them. So now I need to draw. We are drawing the second one, the one after the first one. So we are drawing the second one. So you come to your shapes again. You come to your shapes again, and then we draw. I'm trying to make it uniform so that they all start in the same line, so that our dashboard looks neat. So let's do the same thing for this one. It has a white background, and it doesn't have any outline. Judith is asking where she can find the shape format. The shape format can be found in Insert. Insert, look at where my mouse is. Insert, the menu button after Home. That is where you see the shape format. Okay, now someone has given me a very, very good observation. If you look at this dashboard that we are trying to create, the rectangles are not our normal rectangle, in the sense that look at the edges. They are rounded. The edges are rounded. And like we said, this is our assignment for today. This is what we are trying to replicate. So let us do the right thing. Let us delete this and look for the rounded rectangle, because our assignment says rounded rectangle. So let's go to Insert and see if there's a rounded rectangle. This is the one we've been using. So you can see this is a rounded rectangle, in the sense that the edges, the difference from this and the normal rectangle is that the edges are rounded. So now let us click this and let us start all over. So we are drawing the first one all over again. So if you look at the edges, here, they are a bit what? Rounded. I can control how round my rectangle wants to be. Because if you look at this one that we did, and then we go back to what we are trying to copy, I think this one that we have is a little bit more rounded. So let me make it less rounded. I bring my cursor up. There's like an orange button. There's like an orange circle here on the shape. So I just click on it and drag back. So as you can see, I'm dragging back. It's reducing the round. It's reducing how rounded it is. It's reducing how rounded it is. So we continue. Let me copy this. And then we draw another one. We draw the second one. Right now we're on the second one. Okay. It's a little bit bigger. Please note, we have not changed our colors. So let's give them the colors that are supposed to be there. Outline. Okay. Let's make this a little bit bigger. Let's bring it closer. Let's bring it closer. Okay. I think we are good to go. Let's check the dashboard we are imitating. Okay. I think it's looking a bit fine now. Let's make this a little bit bigger. All right. So let's move. So we have another one, the third one by the right. We have another third one. So let's do something. Let's draw that one again. I just copied and paste. It makes your work very, very. You don't need to always go to Insert, since you are using the same shape. So I just copied it. I think this one is smaller. Let's check it again. Yes, I think this one is smaller. This one is smaller. Then we have the last one. Sorry. Then we have the last one. So let's go back and check. You can see we are getting somewhere, in the sense that we've gotten the top of the dashboard. We've gotten the shapes ready. Do you understand? So assuming we have our chart, assuming we've done chart, what you just be doing is just be carrying your chart. You just be carrying your copying and just be putting the chart in each of those placements. So now let us finish up. Let us finish up with the yes, for those for Chineye, we are still on Excel. This is still Excel. Do you get? I am going to do it afresh. I know it can be confusing because you are not seeing what you are used to seeing. You're not seeing what you're used to seeing. You're used to seeing grid lines. We got rid of the grid lines. So I'm going to do it again. But for the benefit of those that are already following to this point, let us finish with this one. Then we start all over. What we are doing, we are building dashboard, we are building a dashboard, and this is our sample. So now we are coming to the ones at the down, the one at the bottom left. Let us try to build that. Let us try to build that. That one is a bit narrow and long. Is a bit narrow and long. So let us replicate that. Let us replicate that. It's a bit narrow and long. Okay. I think we have that. Let me make it a little bit bigger. Let me make it a little bit bigger. So we're moving on. Right now we are now on the bottom part of the dashboard. So the one at the middle, let's try and build that one also. Let's try and build that. That one is very, very big. It's quite big. I think it's the biggest. So drag this down. We have something like this. And then the last one. And then the last one by the right. Then the last one by the right. Let's build that also. Let's build that also. So you can see this is a dashboard similar to this. This is really a dashboard. That is the functionality of shapes. That is the functionality of shapes. We've been able to use shape to build this. Do you get? So now let us try to write in these shapes. Like I said, like I taught us earlier, for those of us that joined early, there is a tool that allows you to write on shapes, that allows you to write comfortably and conveniently on shape. And that tool is called a text box. So now let us try to write. We're still on what we are copying. We're going to try to be naming the rectangles. For example, the first one here, it says top 5 countries by monthly revenue, subscription type revenue, and so on. So we will try to do that. Now let us start. Like I said, the name of the tool is called what? Text box. And you can find it in Insert. You click on Insert. This is it highlighted here, and you click on your text box. So now we're starting with the first one. Sorry. You click on your text box. And then you click and drag. So what are we writing first? We are writing top 5 countries by monthly revenue. Now let's do that. Top 5 countries by monthly revenue. So let us go back and check what color. It was written in red color, and it was put at the top here. So now let us apply our red to it. It's highlighted. You come here, you write it on red. You can make it a bit bold, whatever you choose to do. For those of us that joined in earlier, I told you, now look at this now. Yes, we've gotten what we want to write, but because it's a text, because we use a text box, it is giving it a border. It is giving it a line, and I don't want my line, because if you are looking at the original, there is no line surrounding this written sentence. This top 5 countries by monthly revenue, there is no line surrounding it. So you have to remove the line. So you click on your text box. You click on your text box, and then you come to shape format, and then shape outline. You remove no outline. You can see now we are good to go. Now we are good to go. We've been able to write, and then it's written perfectly. So now let us do for the other ones too. We have subscription type revenue. Like I said, you go to Insert, you choose a text box, and then you come to where you want your text box to be, and then you draw sorry, you take text box and then you draw the text box. It's a box. You can see that's why they call it is a box. So you draw it according to what you want to write. So now what we are writing right now is subscription type revenue. Let's write that. Subscription type revenue. Let me enlarge it so that it's on every column. So it's also written in red. I highlight it and I choose my red color. I make it bold. Let me bring it to where it's supposed to be. Now you can see the line is still repeating itself. I have to do the same thing. Click on it. Come to shape format here. Shape outline. I need to remove the line and then no outline. The text box, for those of us having difficulties with text box, the text box is you can only find it under insert. Insert, and then you go to the extreme right. You will see it there. You can see this is it highlighted at my extreme right where my mouse is hovering. This is your text box. Yeah, that is where you can see your, that is where you can get your text box under insert. All right, so let's go ahead. What's the next thing to do? Top 5 for the third rectangle here, top 5 revenue generating months. So now let us try to create another text box. Insert text box. Top 5 revenue. Top 5 revenue generating months. Okay. So I want to change the color. I want to make it bold. And then I need to get rid of the line. I click on it. Click on my text box, shape format. And then I do what? I remove the outline. So you can see it's good to go. So you continue like that until we get whatever we are looking for. Ignore the charts for now. We are not there yet. When we are creating charts, then we will now bring our charts and populate it on this dashboard. But I just wanted to show you that this is why you need to learn how to use shapes in Excel. Because when you want to now start analyzing and presenting your data and you are asked to create a dashboard, you need the functionality of shape. You need to learn how to use your shapes to what? Design your dashboard. That is why I'm showing you this particular dashboard as an example. This was done using Excel. So don't be paranoid or don't be scared of saying, okay, how do I do that in Excel? How is this an Excel? So for those of us that didn't join early, I am going to be deleting this sheet and then we're going to be doing it again. So please pay attention. So please pay attention. Normally, this is your Excel workbook. This is how it's supposed to be because it has grid lines. Grid lines are the lines that are separating each row and each column. But because we want to build a dashboard on Excel, do you understand? I don't need these grid lines anymore. I'm not entering a formula. I'm using shapes this time around to represent all my data. So I don't need all these grid lines on. I want them gone. So how do I do that? I come to view. Your view is on your menu bar. You can see where my mouse is, view. Let me zoom this so many people see. You come to view, do you understand? And then you remove grid lines. You can see it highlighted here. Right now, it is clicked. It is clicked, but you need to unclick it. Once you unclick it, all your lines are gone. So take a look at the Excel worksheet now. The lines are nowhere to be found because we've removed them. If you want them back, you click on it and it's back. So that is the first thing you do when you are building the dashboard. You get rid of your grid lines so that you have a blank workspace to work on to build. Now, like I said, what we built was this. What we built was this. This is what we want to use to as an example to build our dashboard. So looking at it, we are trying to replicate it. Looking at it, it has a black background, and then it has several rectangles on it, like 6 or 7 rectangles placed on that black background. And if you also take a look at the rectangles, they are rounded in the sense that look at the edges, they are rounded. Do you understand? So this is what we are trying to replicate for those of us that didn't join earlier. I'm going to do it again. I've done it once. I'm going to do it again. So now what do? We've done the first step. We've removed the grid lines. Now we need to get the background. We need to create the background, the black background that this dashboard has. So now let us do that using our shapes. You come to insert, and then you click your shape. It's rectangle. Our dashboard is rectangle is rectangle in shape. It's rectangular in shape. So we do that. We create our dashboard. Sorry, let me draw that again. Insert, shapes, and then you click, and then I start drawing, because it's going to cover. You can see how wide the dashboard is, so I can just make it cover up to here. Do you understand? And I drag down also maybe up to here. Do you get? But like we said, the black, it is dark in color. It is black in color. So like we did yesterday and we've done today again, for you to change the color of a shape, you can change the color of a shape, and you can also change the line color of the shape. There are two things. There are two things. You can change the color, the fill color, which is the blue. Right now, the fill color is blue. The line color is also blue. So I can give the fill color a different color and also give the line color another different color. But right now, this is what we are trying to do. The background is black, so we need to apply a black shape fill. So we come here, we make it black. You can choose any color you like depending on the kind of dashboard you want to build. But because of what we are copying, we are going to use black. We're going to use black. So we've gotten that. Now, if you look at the line of this rectangle is still blue. It's blue in color. We don't want any line color at all. We don't want any line color because this is what we are copying. And if you look at it, there is no color in this on the background of this dashboard. And we need to do the same for our own too. So you come to shape outline to change the line color. Shape outline, and then you choose no outline. And then you choose no outline. So that's step 2 gone. Remember, step 1, we removed our grid lines. Step 2, because of what we are trying to build, what we are trying to copy, we created a black background. So now, step 3 is now to what? To be getting these shapes. As you can see, we have like 7, I think there are 7 in total, 7 different rectangles, which has the charts that we are presenting. Do you understand? But you need to create those shapes first before the chart. The shapes were created before the charts were added to it. So now let us start creating the shapes. We start from this one that was written Netflix. So let us do that. You go to your insert, shapes, and then you draw. And then you draw. I think it's a bit narrow. So you need to place it very well. For those of us that are here that has artistic eye, do you understand? You will enjoy using tables in the sense that when you are placing it, it has to be aligned properly. So now our first rectangle has been drawn, but it is white in color. So now let us do that. So now let us do that. Is white in color. For those ones doing the recap, because of time, I'll not be drawing everything. So I just want to show you how to do it. I'll not be drawing everything like I did earlier. I'll just draw 2 or 3 so that you get the hang of it. Then something like this. But if you are wondering how the rectangles are appearing, I am just copying and pasting them. I'm just copying and pasting them. You can, yes, I know the rectangles are, I'm just using as an example. I'm just rushing it so that if you see I'm doing something different. I'm not using the original. I'm trying to build a different dashboard this time around. Like I said, it is your dashboard, it is your field, it is your work. So whatever way you want to present your data is left to you. We did the first one because we were copying this. So assuming I just gave you an assignment, I said, come up with your own design. Come up with your own design. So you can have any design you want. You don't necessarily have to copy the one I did. What you just need to understand is how to use those shapes, and then you are aligned, and then you're done building your dashboard. So the last thing I'm going to recap on is the use of text box. That is very important because you need to write on your shapes. You need to give your shapes maybe some information. It could be heading, it could be description, it could be anything. So you need to write your shape. And the only tool that is going to allow you to write on your shape is what? A text tool. And that can be found in insert. You come to insert and then you click what? A text tool. So the text tool allows you. So once you click on it, you just take it to where it's supposed to be, where you want your text to be. Do you understand? And then you write whatever you feel like writing on it. Do you get? Now, one thing I thought about this text tool again is that you can edit whatever you want to, or you can edit or you can format whatever you've written in the sense that you can change the color, make it bold, underline, italic, and you can even make it what bigger. You can put whatever size you feel you can do. Then lastly, I told us that because each text box, because it's a box, it's going to come in a box format. So it's going to come with its own outline, but you need to remove that outline because you don't need that outline there. So you just click on it. You click on your text box and you come to shape format and then shape outline. And then you remove your what? Your no line. And then you're good to go. So over the course of the weekend before the next class, I'll be expecting, though I'll be giving out assignments, but I'll expect you guys to practice these shapes and build different kind of dashboards. One thing that you can also do to help yourself, you can go online. Just go to Google and enter Excel dashboard samples. Excel dashboard samples, and you will see a lot of dashboard, how they were built, how they look like after they've been built. They were all done using Excel. So I did this so that you will know that it is possible doing that in Excel. You don't need to go, though there are other business intelligence tools that you can also use to build dashboards. But if you know how to handle your shapes very well in Excel, you can also do it perfectly in Excel. If I hadn't told you that this particular dashboard was built using Excel, you wouldn't have known that it was Excel. So please, those of us that are, some of us are having issues hearing, please, if you can hear me, please let me know. Yes, the audio is having an issue because we are having technical difficulties. The network is not quite good. So, but those of you that can hear me, please let me know. I'm trying to work on it from my end here. If you can hear me, please just comment I can. If you can hear me clearly, if it's not breaking, please comment I can so that I can make the necessary adjustments. All right, so that is that for shapes. We've used the first hour of the class to talk about shapes. So right now we'll be moving to pivot tables. All right. Thank you for those that are indicating that you can hear me. I guess we can continue now since majority can hear. If you can hear, please, I'll advise you to adjust your network, or you exit the class and then you try rejoining once more. So, all right, so we're done with shapes. Now we are moving on to pivot tables. Now, what are pivot tables? Please don't mix it up. We started with tables. Remember yesterday we started with tables. Right now we are going to pivot tables. Please don't confuse them. They are two separate things. They are two separate things. And through my explanation and through our practical, you're going to see that they are two different things. Now, according to our slides here, what are pivot tables? Now, pivot tables are tools. They are powerful tools that allows you to summarize and analyze large data sets. Remember, guys, when we started yesterday, I told you now we are entering data analysis proper. Do you understand? We'll be analyzing our first set of data. Right now, we've built our first set of dashboard. We've done that together. Do you understand? Right now, we'll be analyzing the data that we are now going to present on those dashboard. That is why I took the time to actually show you how to build your dashboard, because once you've analyzed your data, you need to present it. Like, for example, this dashboard, do you understand? The dashboard was first built, then the analysis was done to get the graphs, then the graphs were now placed on the dashboard. So it is a process. Do you get? So now we are entering our analysis proper. Let us go back to our slides because we are talking about pivot tables. So I said pivot tables are powerful tools in Excel that allows you to summarize and analyze large number of data, large data sets. Assuming you are an analyst, you're given an Excel sheet that has up to like 500,000 rows of information, and you were asked to get some quick calculations. Okay, they want you to get the sum, the average, the product, the variance, and so forth, and they want it in the next 10 minutes. Because you don't know how to use a pivot table, you'll be using your formulas. For example, you want to calculate the sum of 500,000 rows. You'll be writing is equals to sum. You open your bracket the way we taught you, and then you'll be selecting the range. Look how long it takes. It's going to take you. Of which, while you're doing that, you might get confused. You might make a mistake, which you will have to start again because the data is too many. Imagine 500,000 rows. I know most of you might do not have worked on that large data, on that large kind of data. So pivot tables come in cases like this when you are dealing with large amounts of data. It allows you to quickly perform calculations, summarize your data, and also analyze. Do you get? So now let us put all this into practice and see how pivot tables work. So I believe we all have our, okay, let me delete this since we don't need this now. We'll still be coming back to this. I believe we all have our Excel sheet opened from yesterday, our car data set. Please, if you don't have it, it is on the WhatsApp group. You can go there and download it and open it so that you can follow us. So right now, this is where we left off yesterday. We left our data set in a table. Right now, it is still in the table, so we are good to go. So how do we convert to pivot tables right now? Remember, I said it is different. This is the table. Now we want to convert it to a pivot table. So what do? You go to insert. Most of our functionalities are under insert today. So you go to insert. Pivot table is the very first function there. Pivot table is the very first function there. Please, nobody should click it yet. I want you to put your mouse on it and read the caption. It's going to bring a caption. Put your mouse on pivot table and it's going to bring a caption so you can read it on your own, but I'll read it out to everybody. It says, pivot table easily arranges and summarizes complex data in a pivot table. It's as simple as that. It easily arrange and summarize complex data in a pivot table. You can see it is similar to my explanation. It is similar to what we wrote on our slide. It says that it arranges and summarizes complex. Look at that word, complex and large data. So if you are dealing with a very, very large sum of data, you are not expected to be using your normal formulas, though you still need to use them, but just to aggregate, just perform normal aggregate functions like maybe sum, count, or stuff for large amount of data, you're not expected to be using your formulas. Why not just use a pivot table? So that is what professionals will do, and that is what you're going to be in the next 1 hour. So now let us click on the pivot table. So right now, after clicking on the pivot table, it brings this dialog box. You can see this dialog box that I'm shaking right now. It brings this dialog box, and then it's asking me some few questions before I click OK. The first one is choose the data you want to analyze. Now, automatically, because, let me go back, let me remove it. Because my cursor is clicked in the middle of my table, the moment I select pivot table, it has automatically selected my whole data for me. If you look at the edge of your table, you can see there are like some broken lines that is indicating that it has been selected because my mouse was clicked in a table. So Excel recognizes that I want to convert my table to a pivot table. So it has automatically selected the whole table for me. You can see even if I take it down, even if I should scroll it down, this data set you are also using is very, very large. It has 1,000 rows. You can see it selected everything for me. So I don't need to do anything. I don't need to go back there to select anymore because Excel has already selected it for me. Let me go back there. Make sure your mouse is clicked anywhere. You don't need to highlight. Just make sure it's clicked within your table. You click on pivot tables, and then you can see it's saying select a table or range. Our table is writing car sales. If you did what we did yesterday by naming your table car sales, you should be seeing car sales here because it is recognizing that our table has been named. Remember, we named our table yesterday as car sales. So it is writing car sales here because it is recognizing that the name of this table is car sales. So you don't need to do anything. That one has been automatically done for you. It has selected your data and it has written the name of the table for you. So the next thing it is asking us to do is that it's telling you choose where you want your pivot table report to be placed. Now, Excel is telling you Excel is asking you, where do you want me to put this pivot table? Do you want it in a new worksheet or do you want it in an existing worksheet? A new worksheet means it's going to create another worksheet. And then an existing worksheet means it's going to create a pivot table on this same worksheet that we are. Please don't let us get it confused. Let me start all over again. I'm going to start all over again. I want us to get this once and for all. So this is a table. We created this table yesterday. We converted it to a table and we named our table. If you can see, this is our table name here. If you can see where my mouse is shaking, this is our table name here. Car sales. I taught us how to name a table. So our table name is car sales. So right now we are converting to a pivot table. Converting it to pivot. Let us do that. You come to insert pivot table, like I said you don't need to do anything in the first option. In the sense that Excel has already recognized what you want to do. You are converting it to a pivot table, and also that your table has a name, car sales. So the next thing is asking you that where do you want your pivot table to be report to be placed? Do you want it in a new worksheet or do you want it in an existing worksheet? A new worksheet will just automatically create another sheet for you. While this existing worksheet, the pivot table will be put on this existing worksheet. Normally, it is ideal for you to choose a new worksheet so that you have a fresh sheet to look at. If you're choosing an existing worksheet, the pivot table will be put on this sheet, and it is going to be very cumbersome for you to use because you already have a lot of data already on this sheet. So you click on a new worksheet and then you click on OK, and then you have something like this. This is a new worksheet entirely, and this is your pivot table. This is your pivot table. You can see where I'm clicked on. This is your pivot table right here. Let me try to annotate that so that we can all see. This is a pivot table right here. This is your pivot table where my mouse is hovering. This is your pivot table. So right now, when we come to the right, you can see this thing written here, pivot table fields. Pivot table fields. And if you check in this dialog box where my mouse is, you can see we are having different headers: make, model, color, mileage, price, cost of production, and profit. Please let me go back to the original data set. Those things you are seeing there they are your headers here. They are your headers here. Make, model, color, mileage, price, cost of production, and profit. They are your headers here. So that is what you also have. That is representative of what you have in your pivot table. As you can see here, you have it here: make, model, color, mileage, price, cost of production, and profit. Okay, so now right now let us try to let me teach you. I'm going to be teaching you. If you take a look below where these fields are, you'll be looking at different fields. They are divided into 4. You will see 4 different rectangles here. We have filters. One is named filter, one is named columns, one is named rows, and one is named values. So I'm going to be teaching you what the difference between each and why they are there, and what to do with these your columns here. Now, for example, we have this make column, this make field right here, and then I click it. I'm clicking it and I drag it to the rows. Right now, I have dragged my make from here and I dragged and I put it under this row box here. If you look at your Excel sheet, you can see it has labeled all the car makes: Chevrolet, Ford, Honda, Nissan, and Toyota. Remember, this is what we are working with. Remember, we are working with this data set. And if you come back to our data set, look at our make. What is our make here? Chevrolet, Ford, Honda, Nissan, and Toyota. That is the same thing that is replicated in your pivot table. So any field you drag and put under rows, it is going to label them as rows. You can see the cars are in rows. Like Chevrolet is in row 4, Ford is in row 5, Honda is in row 6, Nissan and Toyota are in row 7 and 8. Now let me drag the make. Let me drag it back and put it under what? Column this time around. Let me put it under column. Now, what is it? The cars are still there. The car make are still there. But right now, it is arranged in what? In a column format. So that is the difference of these rows and column. Any field you drag there will be arranged as rows. Any field you drag to rows will be arranged as rows, and any field you drag to columns will be arranged as columns. So right now, let me drag it back to rows. Let me put it back on rows. I can leave it anywhere I like, but let me leave it back on rows. Now, I want to know the price of all these cars. I want to know at first glance, I want to get the price of all these 5 cars, Chevrolet to Toyota. So now I have a price. I have a price header here. I have a price in one of these fields here. So I drag my price and I put it in values. What can we see? Without using any formula, without using any calculation, my pivot table has been able to sum the total of each car for me. So right now I'm seeing that Chevrolet has 4.1 million naira price, followed by Ford, and so on and so forth. This is the functionality. This is the advantage of using the pivot table, in the sense that in the blink of an eye, I've already gotten the sum of all these of all these car makes. Remember, everything we are doing, your pivot table is as a result of this data set. Now imagine I'm giving you just this data set, and I didn't teach you pivot table, and I'm telling you, get me the total price of all these cars in this column. You get me the total price of Honda, Ford, Chevrolet, and Nissan. It's going to be very, very difficult for you because you are dealing with a lot of rows. This is 1,000 rows or 1,001 rows. So for you, you now be looking, how do you want to go about it? It's going to be very, very difficult, especially for those of us that are starting fresh in the data analysis field. That is the advantage of using what? Your pivot tables. That is the advantage of using your pivot tables. Please let me do it again so that we understand how this thing was gotten. So I'm going to delete this. I'm going to delete this and do my pivot table from the beginning. I'm going to create another pivot table. So let me remove my pivot table. Let me delete this sheet. Let me delete this sheet. And then I have my car data set. Right now, my pivot table is gone. I want to start from the beginning so that you follow. Like I said, make sure your mouse is clicked anywhere on the table. You can leave it anywhere. And then you come to insert, pivot table. Pivot table is the first function. Pivot table is the first function on your insert row. So you click on pivot table. So like I said, it's going to be asking you two things. The first one has been done for you, so you don't need to do anything. It has already selected the whole table for you because you clicked in it before you started. And if your table is named, you're going to see the name of your table here. My table is named. That is why I have car underscores. So the only thing you need to do here is you need to decide maybe whether you want your pivot table to be in a new worksheet or you want it to be in an existing worksheet. I said, ideally, let it be in a new worksheet. So you are creating an entire new worksheet. And then we click OK. So you can see it gives me another new worksheet. And then I have my pivot table. All my data has been summarized into this table. So I can use this pivot table to get any value I want. I can use this pivot table to get any value I want. So right now, like I said, if you look at this box if you look at where my mouse is, I'm having make, model, color, mileage, price, cost of production, and profit. They are the same things in my original data set. They are what makes up my heading. You can see this is my heading. Make, model, color, mileage, price, cost of production, profit. So you can see that what pivot table is that it's going to carry this huge amount of data and just bring it here. Everything has been summarized like this. So now we have all our headers here. Do you understand? Now we can now start doing our analysis. And I told us these four columns here, filter, this is the first one, filter. Please just follow my mouse. Filter, columns, rows, and values. I've taught you columns and rows, but I'm going to teach you again. Right now, if I should bring my make, which is the make of each car, I'm clicking and drag. You click and drag. That's how I'm doing it. That's how I'm bringing it. You can see I'm clicking it and dragging it to where I want it to be. And I left it on rows. Everything has been listed under rows. You can see the 5 cars, Chevrolet, Ford, Honda, Nissan, and Toyota, they are in a row. Like, for example, Chevrolet row 4, Ford row 5, and so on and so forth. But now let me take it back to a column. Let me put in a column. You can see now it's a column. Now Ford, Chevrolet is in column A, Ford is in column B, Honda is in column C, and so on and so forth. I can decide to leave it anywhere. Let me leave it in columns. So right now, like we said, now we are doing analysis. I want to know the price of each of these cars. We have a price column here. Here, this is our price. We have a price column here. So what do I need to do? I'll just drag my price and put it in values. But I want to ask you guys a question. Why am I putting my price in values and not any other place? Why am I not putting it in rows? And why am I not putting it in filters? I'm putting my price in values because it is a number. If you look at values, there's a symbol in front of it. That symbol represents number. So if you are working on a pivot table and you have a number, you have a column where it is only numbers that are there, they have to be in the values section. They have to be in the values section, because it is going to give you the numbers. It's going to calculate it as numbers. So right now, our price is under values. So now we can see. Now we know, at first glance, we know the prices of each of these cars without doing any calculation. If we go back to our definition of the pivot tables, we said pivot tables summarizes and analyzes large data sets. It allows you to quickly aggregate and group your data, which is exactly what it has done. Without using any formula, without using any function, without doing anything at all, I already know the price of all these car makes just by using my pivot table. Now I can get multiple values. I only got for price. Now let me get the profit. Let me see which of them. Let me see the profit for each of these cars. And all I need to do, I just drag my profit and put it under price again and put it in the value section. Come in. Let me undo that so that you guys don't come in. I'll do that again. Let me bring my make. Let me put it in column. Let me put it in rows here so that it will be easier for us to see. Now, I said I want to also view profit. I want to see the profit of each of these cars. What do? I go to profit here, and I do the same thing. The way I got my price, I drag my profit and put it under values, because my profit is also a number, and I want to put it under values. So can you see? Now I am seeing two values for my car mix. I am seeing their prices and I am seeing their profits without me doing any calculation at that. So now this is our first analysis. You've analyzed the prices and the profit of these cars within seconds. That is the importance of a pivot table. That is the importance of a pivot table. That is why I'm taking my time to let you guys know, because if you're going to be creating chart, I showed you this dashboard. Do you understand? For all these charts that were created, a pivot table was created for them. You can't get your chart without using your pivot table to summarize and analyze your data. For all these charts that you are seeing, as beautiful as they look, as informative as they look, they were created using pivot tables. So this is a pivot table right now. We've done our first analysis. Congratulations to us. So using a pivot table. Now, if you can see, let us go back to our make. There are different fields. In the sense that what we got here now, we just got the price and profit of each car make. Chevrolet, Ford, Honda, Nissan. But if you go back there, it's not only car make we have. We have car model. We have car color. So now let us try that. So what I'm trying to tell you is that you can create multiple pivot tables. You can create multiple pivot tables. Let me go back to this dashboard. We are having like 7 or 6 different charts here. For each chart, a pivot table was created for each chart. A pivot table was created for each chart. So right now, in my own, this is just one. This is just a pivot table showing me the price and profit of my car mix. Now, assuming I want to get another one showing me the price and profit for the car model. We have a model here. So what do I need to do? I need to create another pivot table. And so what do? I repeat the process. I go to my original data, which is this. I click anywhere there, and then I do the same process again. Insert pivot table. And then I choose what? Exit a new worksheet. And then I click what? OK. Can you see? Now we have another worksheet. Your previous worksheet is still there. Do you understand? It hasn't gone. This is it here. It's on sheet 3. But I want to create another pivot table because I need new information this time around. The first information I did was getting my price and profit for car make. Right now, I want to get for car model or for car color. So I need another pivot table, which we've done. So right now, we still have our headers listed here. But right now, we are not dealing with make. We are dealing with model. So right now, let me drag the model. Let me drag the model and put it on rows. Let me make it bold. You can see right now, these are the models. The first one was the car make. The first one had Chevrolet, Ford, Honda, Nissan, and Toyota. Now, these one are the models, Altima, Camry, Civic, and so forth. So right now, we want to get the same thing. We want to get the sum of price and profit. So we drag, now we have to drag our price to another column. Like I said, because it is a value, the price has to fall under what? The value. It has to be in the value section. And maybe the profit. Okay, let me use the cost this time around. The cost. Can we see? Right now, we've analyzed the data based on the car model this time around. This one was for the car make, and this one was for the car models. If you're looking at it, there are different calculations. It said that we got price and profit for car make, and this one is what? Price and cost of production for car model. So, ladies and gentlemen, let me take a breather here. I know a lot of us are going to be having questions. I am going to do this again. You understand? I'm going to do it again and again and again till everybody goes out. We're going to start from the beginning. But for now, let me take some few questions so that we know where our understanding is at. So someone is asking me, can we also have the pivot table on the existing sheet where the table is? Kolawole is asking me if we can have the pivot table on the existing sheet. Yes, you can. Yes, you can. But the reason why I didn't want you to do that is because so that you won't get confused. You are a newbie in the field. If you are okay, let's do it. Let's practicalize that. Let's put your question to the practice. Let's put it to the test. Now let us create another pivot table. And now let us put it on the existing worksheet this time around, not on the worksheet. You can see existing worksheet. You're going to have a lot of difficulties in the sense that for you to put it on the existing worksheet, you have to specify where you want to put it. You have to specify where you want to put it. But if I should click on OK, it's giving me an invalid value. You have to specify. Okay, so I want it to be here. To be on I2. I click there and then I click on OK. You can see my pivot table is on the same sheet. But which one would you rather do? Which one would you rather have? For it to be on the same sheet, which might make you confused and make all your information too jumbled, or for it to be on an existing sheet where you can have a lot of space to do your analysis. So that is why, yes, you can, but I wouldn't want you to do that so that you wouldn't get confused. So I think that answers my question to you, Kolawole. So Miss Sola is asking, why is the car make just giving 5? I can't understand. Why is the car make just giving 5 at the car? Okay. You're asking me why the car make is just giving me 5 cars. Chevrolet, Ford, Honda, Nissan, and Toyota. Okay. Let me go back to our original data sheet, to our original data set. This is our original data set, and this is our make, right? Please go through the whole make and see if you are going to see any other car apart from those 5 cars. They are just appearing multiple times. If you filter, thank you, Olayinka. If you filter the original data set, you can see these are the only cars you are going to be seeing there, the 5 cars. This original data set is just populated multiple times by the same cars. It is populated multiple times by those same 5 cars. So it is just 5 cars that you have there if you format it. That is why when we took it to what? When we took it to a pivot table, it was telling us that we only have what? 5 cars there. So another question, I saw one interesting question. Let me see if I can find it. Yes, additional. I really, really like your question. You're asking, suppose you add another column to the data set in the table. Will it reflect in the pivot table? Additional, I want you to do me a favor. Write this question and ask me next week, because I can't treat it now. We still have a long way to, we still have some ways to go before I teach this particular question. So you are quite ahead, but it's a good question. Yes, let me answer your question. Yes, you can. Because right now, if you look at our data set, we only have make, model, color, mileage, price, cost of production, and profit. And that is what is reflecting in our pivot table. So what is asking me that if I should add another column, if I should add another column to this data set, will it reflect in the pivot table? Yes, it will reflect. But there's something you need to do before it reflects. Yes, it is going to reflect. Assuming I do another calculation here, maybe I just do units, maybe units per price. Maybe I create another column and say unit per price, and then my unit per price, please note, this is just for practice. I'm just using it to practice. And maybe my unit per price is maybe my price divided by my cost of production. Now I've gotten my unit per price here on the original table. But if you go to your pivot table, it is not there. So there's a way for me to do it and bring it there. So additional, please just note that question. I'm going to treat it next week. Do you understand? Because I don't want to jump ahead over. It is a process, but it can be done. So that's your question for that. It can be done. So let me see if I can take other questions. Okay, I'm only going to take questions regarding pivot table, what we are doing. If you are having some issues with previous classes, the video, yesterday's video will be dropped. We are having technical issues, that is why it hasn't been dropped. But rest assured, the video is ready. It's just uploading it that is giving us issues. So that one will be dropped. So if you are having questions regarding the previous classes, please, once the video has been dropped, go through it, and I believe you'll be able to answer your questions by yourself. So Ms. Ola, you're saying you're confused. Does it mean that the pivot table sums up the cost of all the cars? Yes. Right now, look at it. Look at this. Let me go back to this pivot table. And let me remove this. First of all, I got all my car makes labeled out. Do you understand? And remember, in our original car data set, every single car has its price. Every single car has its cost of production, and every single car has its what? Profit. So right now, I just want my pivot table to summarize the price of all Chevrolet cars. If I come here and filter, if I go to my original data set and filter Chevrolet, right now, the only thing I'm getting is Chevrolet. The only thing I'm getting is Chevrolet. If I want to get the price, do you understand? Now, normally, if I hadn't touched the pivot table, you now start adding. You say sum, open bracket, then you now click on the first cell here to the last cell, and then you close your bracket, and then you get the sum. The sum right now, please look at where my mouse is. The sum is 19,887,762 using the sum function. But it is easier done, do you understand, in a pivot table. Now let me get the price. Sorry, let me drag this. Was it price we calculated here? Okay, let me remove all this. All right. So you can see, where am I? Now, Chevrolet here is giving me 4 million. And here, when I did it on my original data set, I'm getting 90 million. Can anyone tell me why I'm getting different answers? Anyone in the comment section can tell me why. When I calculated the total sum for Chevrolet here, I got 19 million. But in my pivot table, the total price of Chevrolet is 4 million. Can anybody say why? Okay, let me answer that by myself. In our original data set, when I filtered out Chevrolet, no, ES Global, the answer is not, that's not the answer. Let me give you the answer. The answer is that when I filtered out Chevrolet, my model, look at my model. Yes, additional Joshua, that is the correct answer. There are different models and there are different colors of Chevrolet. There are different colors of there are different colors of Chevrolet and there are different colors of model. So it summed everything together. But when I did my pivot table, I only selected what? Chevrolet. I didn't add the model and I didn't add the color to it. So that is why I said, if I now want to get the color, maybe I want to get the price of the whole color of the model, I create another data set, I create another pivot field, which I did here. So right now, this one is calculating just the model, the price, and the sum of production. So I know it can be confusing. Okay, oh, now you understand. I am glad you do that. So pivot tables allows you to quickly calculate and aggregate all this data. In the blink of an eye, you've already gotten it. What you just need to do is know where you are adding your fields. Know where you are going to be putting your fields. For example, I talked about values. I said in the value section, which is the rectangle by the section, the bottom right section, I said you only put numbers in this value section. If you want your answer to be returned as a value, as a number, you put it in the value section. Then for the rows, it will be showing as rows. Like for example, Ultima, Camry, they are all being represented as what? As rows. So you can do a whole lot. Everything that we did now, everything that we got in here was gotten from this what? Our car data set here. Summarized into what? A pivot table. So for those of us still, I know the video of this particular class is going to be very, very important. So we'll be dropping it for you. Abdul Mumin, you're asking me the difference between filter and sort. In previous classes, I know you'll have been taught filtering and sorting, but no worries. The filtering and sorting also applies to pivot table, and we are going to be covering it excessively in the next class. You understand? So don't worry, you're going to understand how to filter and sort in a pivot table. But what I want us to understand now is how to create. I'm going to answer this. Adam, Imurana Adam, you're asking a question that has been previously asked, but I'm going to give you the answer again. You're asking me, if you change your main data, will it have any effect on your pivot table? Yes. Automatically, it is going to update your pivot table. Okay, maybe I should just teach that now, and then I can always teach it in another class. Okay, let me see. The questions are coming up frequently. Now, look at our data. I added this unit price. For those of us that didn't, let me do it again. This was the original data. Please hold on. So this was our original data, in the sense that we only add make, model, color, mileage, price, cost of production, profits. So right now I want to add more information to this table. Maybe I said I wanted to get units. I wanted to get unit per price. Do you understand? And maybe my unit per price is price divided by cost of production. Now I have my unit per price. It has been populated. We did it yesterday. It has calculated that column for me. But if I go back to my pivot table, sorry, if I go back to my pivot table and then I look at, there is no, that unit per price has not been added. I still have the normal, the ones I started with, make, model, column, mileage, price, cost of production, and profit. This new one that we created has not been added. This new one we created, unit per price, has not been added. So how do we add it to our pivot table? All you need to do, you need to refresh your data. Please hear me clearly. You need to refresh. We all know the meaning of refresh. We use it on our systems. You can refresh your system if your system is hanging or you want to do anything that is not point. Just refresh. Do you understand? Refresh means you just refresh the whole system. You reboot it. Now, what do we do? How do you refresh your data set? You come to data. You can see we can all see where my mouse is. You come to data, and then you come to this place, refresh all. You can see it here, refresh all. Nobody should click on it yet. Just read the caption. Just put your mouse on it and then read the caption. What is it telling us? It says, the caption is telling us that it gets your latest data by refreshing all sources in the workbook. So that is the function of this refresh all. It's going to refresh your workbook so that the latest information is what updated. So now let us try that now. I come here and I click on what? Refresh all. So now let me go back to my pivot table. Please, can we see our new column there or not? Unit per price has been added. This is it here. This is where my mouse is. It wasn't there before because we didn't refresh. But now that we refresh, it has added unit per price. The one we calculated over here, the new column that we calculated over here has now been added to the what? To the pivot table. So I think that answers our questions. Yes, you can update your data. If you change your table, it is going to reflect in the pivot table. All you just need to do is to refresh and then it gets updated. Let me see if I can take a new another questions. Let me see. Okay, is it possible to create a pivot table without first call? Yes, Leonidas. Thank you for this question. So everybody, Leonidas is asking us if it is possible to create a pivot table without first converting the data set to a table. Yes, it is possible. You can create a pivot table without first converting it to a table, but there are some functionalities that you will not have. There are some functionalities that you will not have. Now, let me show you. Right now, this is our original table. I'm going to convert it back to a range. I'm going to remove it from it being a table. I'm going to convert it back to a range. I taught you guys this yesterday. So now, it is no longer a table. You can see all my filters has gone. It is no longer a table. Now, let me try to create a pivot table from this data set that is no longer a table. Let me try to create a pivot table. Then I'll show you the difference. Then I come to insert pivot tables. So right now, the difference you'll be having in the sense that when it was a table, I wasn't getting this range. It wasn't showing me this range. You can see there's a range here. There's a range in this. Look at where I'm highlighting, where my mouse is, where I'm highlighting. It's showing me that I have a range of A1 to H1000, 1001. Because it is no longer a table, it's letting you know that it is a range. Do you understand? So it's showing you from here, you know that, oh, I think my data is no longer in a table. Yes, you can still work with it. You can convert it to a pivot table without it being a table, but it is ideal. It is ideal for you to convert it to a table so that you have the full functionalities of what? Of the pivot table. So now let me convert it back to a table. Please hold on. Let me just undo. Let me take it back to a table. So now I have my table back. So I think that answers our question. So class, we are getting to the end of another data analysis class. But I would like to give us an assignment. So I'll be dropping the data set in the WhatsApp group for us to work with and try to come up with some little analysis that we've been able to do since yesterday. So I'll just explain the assignment to you. Let me just give you guys the explanation so you know what to do. Now, this data set I'm going to be dropping down for you. All you need to do is you are going to create. Okay, let me open the data set. Let me show you the data set so that we all know what we are working with. Let me show you the data set. Please hold on. The data set will be dropped in the WhatsApp group for us to work with. Okay, in the process while the is still open, let me see if I can take additional questions. Please drop your question in the comment section if you want me to explain anything I've done regarding pivot tables today. Like I said earlier in the beginning of the class, please don't worry too much about the videos. The first one of yesterday is already ready. We're just having some difficulties uploading them, but we're going to resolve them hopefully this night or latest tomorrow. So you have the two videos to kindly watch back. Bio, I can see you are raising your hand. Can you please drop your question in the comment section, please? Kindly drop your question in the comment section so that I can treat it. I don't want to because we are having issues with the network, so I don't want to give people the chance to talk today because of the poor network. Okay, Kolawole is asking me, what is the role of filters in pivot table fields? Yes, Kolawole, I didn't teach filters today because there wouldn't be much time. Is actually wild. I'm going to teach you filters and sorting together. If I'm going to start now, we won't be able to finish before our time runs out. That is why I didn't take that. Filters are very, very important in pivot tables. It allows you to filter your information and get exactly what you're looking for, the same thing as sort. But we're not treating that today. We are going to be doing that tomorrow. Or we're going to be doing that next week rather. So let's be patient for that. Okay, let me see. Do we have any other question? Okay, Abdulmumin is asking me, are there default templates for dashboards? Yes, there are some Excel versions that comes with default dashboards that come with default dashboards that you can use them. They're already inbuilt and you can just use them to analyze your own data. But I always like to teach my students how to build your own, because building your own, you will have different things to play with. You will have a wide range of variety once you are able to build your own dashboards. That is why I want us to know how to use the shape function to efficiently build the dashboard. Chineye is asking me, how did I filter the original data set to get the Chevrolet? Okay, let me see if I can get that back. Please hold on. Let me open the data set once more. To get that, you only need to go to Chineye, go to your original data set and click on the filter button beside the make. Click on the filter button beside the make and then choose whatever car set you want. Okay, let me show you here. Let me show you here. For you to filter the Chevrolet, go to the car make. This is your car make function. This is your car make column here. You can see this arrow, this filter button. Click on it. It's going to show you all the cars selected, all the car make selected. So remove them from select all and choose whatever you want. Maybe it's Chevrolet you want. Only Chevrolet, select only Chevrolet, and then you click OK. Only Chevrolet will be selected. So that is how to filter from. Bio, you are asking me to explain how to convert a table to a non-table. I did all that yesterday, and I've even done it today. It is well explained in yesterday's video. It will be dropped so you can take a look at it. So, guys, for the assignment, I am going to drop the assignment. It is another data set entirely. I'm going to drop it in the WhatsApp group. So what you will just be doing, do you understand? I'm going to give instructions. The instructions are also going to come with it. So everybody sees it. I'm going to write it out. I'm going to type it out so that you can always go back to look at it. It is self-explanatory. It is what we did today that I'll be asking you to do. So guys, watch out for the assignment. I'll be dropping it shortly after this class. You need to practice, and I'll be creating a Google form link where you upload your assignments there once you are done. You understand? Once you are done, you are going to click on the link, and it's going to show you how you're going to upload your assignment. You save it on your system, and then you upload it using that Google form so that I can go through everyone's assignment and know how we are understanding and we are following. The rest assured, like I said, the video will be dropped. The video will be dropped after the classes, and we can always go back and watch what we have missed. So if there are any questions that I didn't take in this class, please feel free to drop them in the group, and we will all tackle them as one. So this brings us to the end of another class in data analysis. Like I said, we are entering analysis proper, and we've been able to do some little analysis that's using pivot tables. So your assignment is going to be based on a pivot table, and I hope we are all able to complete it correctly. So thank you everyone. Thank you so much for joining since yesterday and today. We'll be okay. Some people are saying the group is restricting. I can see what I can do about that. Maybe to no, you don't need to, you're not submitting your assignment on the group. I'm only just going to drop the link. You don't need to respond. I'm going to drop the link to the Google form. It's only that link you need to submit the assignment. Just click the link, and then it takes you to your browser where you can upload. So you don't need to comment on the group. So that's that for that. The assignment will be dropped. Akman, the assignment will be dropped on the group. Okay, so thank you everyone for joining. If you have a question to ask, like I said, ask them on the group. Thank you everyone for joining. The video will drop shortly after the session. So I look forward to getting your assignment, and we'll meet again on Friday on Fairly, God willing. All right, so everyone, good night and have a lovely night rest. Thank you for joining. Bye.